Hello and welcome to the Fantasy Challenge podcast. We are back with a Game Week 8 preview. Yes, 8, not 7. And I'm back here with my co host, Alex. How are you?
Yes, hello, Challen. I'm fine. Thanks for asking. It's been
How
a long week of wait and anticipation
it
for the
absolutely
opening up of
has.
Game Week 8, I think, due
Yeah,
to certain circumstances, or unfortunate circumstances, should I say.
definitely. Yeah, both
Yeah,
unforeseen and unfortunate, yes.
yeah.
Yeah, so unfortunately, we've had to lose Game Week 7, but we do what we have to do. All we ask for nowadays is can't we just have a regular FPL season?
I know, we'll hope.
I mean, we've had COVID for 2 years. It's disrupted the game weeks. We've had what did we have last year? We had something as well last year, which resulted in massive delays and stuff. Can't we just have one normal year again?
It's hard to say. That's just how society flows, I guess.
Apparently, we can't. Anyway, we have to make
No.
do and we have to just plan ahead, and that's what we'll try and do starting from today. Today, we're going to be
Yes.
looking at the. We're going to. There's no game week to review. We did that last week, so you can tune into last week's episode if you want to. So, we're going to be catching up on just football news in general because a lot has happened. And then we're going to maybe look at some stats and then do our predictions for game week 8. And then I'm on a wild card, so that's going to be revealed. And Alex is in the boat of two free transfers, so we'll hear his point of view on that.
We will indeed.
First things first, once again, look at us. Who would have thought we have done nothing in game week 7, yet look at us, we've gone up by 50,000 in rank each.
Yes, boy.
And not only
Doing nothing and increasing.
not only that, but we are number 1 in game week rank. First time ever, probably the last time ever.
Probably the only time.
You know what I've just realized is, you know how they give prizes away to people who win the game week of the month and that kind of thing?
I was thinking the same thing.
Surely they,
Like we should all be rewarded.
yeah, there are probably millions of people who've finished game week, well,
uh,
first in the game week, and they're not going to give us all a prize, probably not.
at least give us like a coupon or something.
An extra transfer, that would be nice.
Yeah.
Something, 4 points, anything. Anyway, so let's first have a look at the obvious news. Game week 7 was postponed, I guess is what the term is, due
Yeah.
to the unfortunate passing of Queen Elizabeth II. Condolences to her family and everyone in the UK as well.
Yeah. Condolences and all the best and recovering and all that.
Yeah, and as a result, we've had postponements in football, but not in other sports and that kind of thing. It's kind of topsy turvy in that sense. What do you think about
Yeah.
that in general?
Ah, happens.
It happens, yeah.
Let's not dwell on it
I
too
agree.
much. I
Yeah,
mean, it is what it is and just accept and move on, I suppose.
it would be nice if there was just consistency in general across all sports. That would be ideal, but yeah,
I mean, if you are going to cancel sports, cancel all sports just to make it fair.
yeah. Anyway, so before that, though, there was even more news for me as a Chelsea fan. I woke up on, well, not woke up, it was mid Wednesday after we lost to Zagreb, I think it was,
It was indeed, yes.
and checked the news and saw that Thomas Tuchel had been sacked. What do you think of that?
The double T. Um, yeah, I think it was coming. I think just a matter of when, I suppose.
Do you think it's warranted, though?
Yes and no. No, because of he's doing well in the league. I mean, still in top seven. Um, yes, maybe new, how can you say, leadership or ownership in the club and not having the same opinions and
I guess, yeah.
going forward. Yeah, different mindsets.
Yeah, I think on the face of it, it looks like a bit of a surprising sacking because it's early in the season. New owners have been
Mm,
working with him for the last few months, so why wouldn't they have sacked him immediately last
yeah,
season, kind of thing? But if you look at it objectively, as I told you at the time, it the leadership said that they had differences of overall view of where they want to take the club and how they want to do it. So you may as well do it now while you can, I guess.
Yeah.
And yes, he oversaw the transfer window and how things went there, and he did well to help us transition in that sense. So that it's a positive on his side. And now we've got a manager who I think will be there for the long term. I don't think we're going to sack unless we get relegated, which is unlikely.
Yeah, I don't think so. Yeah.
But I think this is a long term appointment, and they're going to let him and probably a director of football coming in uh, do things going forward for the next few years.
I mean, I do like the appointment. I mean, he's done very well with Brighton, been consistent in the Premier League, top half finisher. So it's only a matter of time since a big club came calling.
It's nice to see a British appointment as well, for once,
That too,
at a big
yes.
club. So I'm all for this attempt. Um, I mean,
Pot-
if all else fails, we can just sack him. I guess we do the Chelsea thing, sack him after a year or two, and get someone else.
Bring in Pochettino.
Yeah, I mean, him and I guess Sedan were the front runners initially, but
Yeah.
yeah, I like this difference. It feels fresh. It doesn't feel like the regular Chelsea rotational managers.
No, I guess going for an experienced manager wouldn't hurt
Hmm.
for the time being. Excuse me.
All right. So going forward, other news FPL wise, can we think of anything? Champions League. What's been happening there?
You can mention it. Liverpool getting back to winning ways after their dreadful first game against Napoli. Uh, Salah on the score sheet again.
They look
Diaz
Yeah,
looking good
they looked very good
as
with
always. So
Thiago back as
yeah.
well.
Mm. And then Spurs just getting downed in injury time, which is unfortunate.
Something surprising that when I saw the result, okay, I saw the result last night and I laughed, first of all. But second of all, is someone tweeted about Conte's Champions League record, and it's bang average. He's only gotten out of the group stage as a Champions League manager twice.
Interesting.
His record is something like played 36, won 12, drawn 13, and lost 12 or 11. It's, as I
Yeah, you
said,
wouldn't have thought
bang
that with the
average,
man.
exactly.
Yeah,
So, although to be fair, when I think about the Chelsea days, he very much focused on the league.
yeah.
That's where he got his rotations ready in the 11s. That's what he focused on. So I can see that being similar with Spurs,
Right.
especially if results continue in this sense.
Yeah, we'll see what they do against Leicester this week.
We will.
Hoping for a Ward clean sheet. One can only hope.
All right, let's move on to fixtures, I guess. Uh, this is a big overall view of the remaining game weeks until the World Cup, basically, and mainly just for those who are on a wild card. So you're planning for the next 8 game weeks, basically, and it gives you an idea of if you don't have a wild card to try and plan ahead. So at the top of the fixture ticker at this stage, the best teams who have good fixtures are Bournemouth. I don't think we're tempted by them at all.
No.
Aston Villa, Everton, Fulham, West Ham, and Newcastle. All mid-table, you'd say teams. Fulham being the exception there, and
Yeah.
they all have good mid-price options. So I mean, if you're on a wildcard, you can get a pretty cheap wildcard team there.
Yeah, it's not a bad attempt at those teams. I mean, I wouldn't go near Everton because I see Pickford is injured and they
Ah, yeah, good
brought
point.
in Jakupovic as a emergency buy.
Mm.
But even then, no. No thanks. Maybe Fulham, I suppose.
Mitrovic,
If you're
surely.
gonna, yeah, Mitrovic. Only Mitrovic, yeah, since I have Pereira already.
West Ham, anyone
Uh,
tempting you there?
Not really. Antonio Bowen, probably the standout spieler, or Scamacha. How do you say it?
Yeah.
I don't know. Other than that, no. I'll just maybe tinker around Newcastle. Maybe I've got Trippier, maybe Isaac. If I want to get rid of
Tony,
Not Tony. Yeah, I
Jesus.
really don't want to, but I have to. Yeah, I want to keep Jesus.
Well, I mean, look at Brentford's fixtures. They play Arsenal this week, and then Bournemouth and Newcastle and Brighton, Chelsea. So tough next five, to be fair, in my opinion. What do you think?
Yeah, but still juicy to keep Tony. I mean, Arsenal, Bournemouth, Newcastle, Brighton look good. Then after that, I mean, Chelsea, new manager, we'll see.
If looking at Brentford's fixtures, they have what, three home games in the next five, and they're all against decent defenses, if not good. So I only really see them scoring freely, if that, in the Bournemouth game, right?
Yeah,
And it's away
I
as
agree
well,
with
so
you.
you never know.
Yeah.
Um,
They're playing Arsenal away or
the
at home?
capital letters are at home, so
Um,
that's what that means. Yeah, they're playing them at home, so there is a chance there. The only benefit to Tony is that he is the talisman and he is the penalty taker. So if
yeah.
anyone's going to score, it's probably going to be him.
I mean, since I'm not on a wild card and I have two free transfers, I wouldn't get rid of Tony quite yet. More maybe Liverpool who don't have a fixture.
I was going to say, yeah, you have more priorities to consider, and those would
Yeah,
be your Liverpool, Man United, Brighton players, right?
yeah. Considering Liverpool have Brighton, Arsenal, and City the next three.
And a blank.
I mean, yeah,
We may as well transition into that then. So Liverpool owners, whether it be those who own Salah, Trent, or in my case, Salah, Trent, and Darwin,
Darwin, yeah.
what do you do? Do you hold Salah? Do you hold Trent? Do you sell both? What do you do if you're on a wild card or not on a wild card? In your position, what are you doing? No wild card.
Oh God, I'll probably. I mean, I could keep one of them, but you don't want that money on your bench, especially Salah. So depends if you want to sell Salah and Nunes and keep Trent for his attack, I suppose, or sell Salah and Trent
But who do you
to
get
get. Yeah, that's the thing.
in your team now? If you were to sell either of them, who are you going to get?
Well, maybe Salah straight swap for De Bruyne, I suppose. It's the only viable option.
Fair.
Wolves, United, Southampton, Liverpool, Arsenal. Okay, tricky, but I can't see City not scoring in any of those fixtures
Yeah, it's good
because
for the.
they're
I mean, if you're going to sell Salah, you're going to get him. You're going to get him for the next three, and then you would probably want Salah back in game week 12 at home to West Ham.
yeah,
So therefore, you can just sell De Bruyne again in game week 11 if you want to, when they're
yeah.
playing.
Because it's not like I will make more transfers after this week, so
Exactly.
it's possible. Yeah,
So
that's the route I'm going. Yeah,
Trent.
Salah, yeah, Salah, De Bruyne, and then Trent. Hmm.
This is where it's tricky to me. If you, as a Trent owner,
Yeah.
what do you do? Because
I mean, for his price, I mean, geez,
you can't
so many options.
you can't sell him to get James because James doesn't play.
Yeah.
You're not going to sell him to get Perisic because Perisic played 90 last night, and will he play against Leicester? Probably be saved for Arsenal.
Arsenal could go. I mean, Saliba, Gabriel, but like almost like half the price. It's not really worth it,
Hmm.
especially if they've got Spurs and Liverpool the next three, and City, I should say.
Do you still have Cancelo or not?
I've never touched Cancelo. Yeah, he's been in there since game week one.
Okay, so yeah, if you get De Bruyne, then you can't get another City player, so they're out of the picture.
Yeah, he's to me he's probably untransferable, should I say, Cancelo and Haaland for that matter. So they're
Hmm.
sticking in my team. Perisic maybe. I mean, Leicester, Arsenal, Brighton, reasonable fixtures, I suppose.
I guess.
But if I have Ward playing, is there any sense of having Perisic?
Exactly. I mean, you're basically left to, and you already own Trippier, so you can't buy Trippier, which is what some
No.
people would be doing. I guess your other options. Let's look at those top few teams who have good fixtures. So if you were to do the same
Yeah.
thing with Trent that you would with Salah and buy him back in game week 12, then you'd want someone who has, let's say, 3 or 4 good games. So that would be someone from Aston Villa, Southampton, Leeds,
Yeah.
Forest, or West Ham, maybe Everton, Wolves, Fulham, Southampton.
But even then, I mean, Villa, defense, not really worth it. Like Mings or Cash. I
Some
mean, or Dean, he's just like a troll in defense.
he
Like, I
is,
cannot.
he is,
Yeah.
and I mean West Ham, you could maybe go Sofal, decent attacking.
Cresswell, if he's still there. Yeah,
I
Cresswell
think
still left. Yeah.
he's injured though. That's why they brought
Yeah.
in Emerson. It's a tough one. Or you just keep the money in the bank and you then just keep it in the bank, and then when game week 12 comes around, you can just get him back immediately. Because that's the main thing.
Yeah.
If transferring them out, you have to think about how you're going to get them back in.
Yeah.
Because that's probably the big thing with selling Salah is that yes, he blanks this week, but if you then don't own him next week and he destroys Brighton, then even though he plays Arsenal, you might want him back.
Yeah. That's my thought, specifically for that Brighton game. How well will he do? Will he go rampant after this recent Champions League?
I think the week off, I say week off, but this time off that they've had, I think has allowed people like Thiago to get back into the frame of things, and the squad's obviously playing better last night. They've shown that, so I think selling them this week is good. That's why I think a free hit is quite
Yeah.
tempting.
Look, we've overlooked at Liverpool. We haven't looked at Brighton, who have miserable fixtures. Liverpool, Spurs, Brentford, Forest, and City,
Yeah, and you have what? You
and
have
our
Sanchez
Gross
and
and
Gross.
Crunches. So instead of doubling up on or selling Liverpool assets, I can do one of Liverpool and one of Brighton, Salah and Gross, and getting De Bruyne and a cheap midfielder. Maybe a Foden if I can afford him for City and triple up on City.
No, you wouldn't
But
be.
I can't.
Yeah,
Yeah, I can't consider
you could maybe get Bowen
Bowen. You
if you can afford that. Bowen plays Everton, Wolves, Fulham, Southampton.
wait, Madison. Madison is 7, right?
I think so, but he plays Tottenham. Yeah, okay. That's Tottenham this week and then the rest.
Yeah,
Kulisevsky. There's a few little options
hmm,
there.
yeah.
I think I would be.
Maybe.
Okay, no, they don't play this week, but I would be tempted by Zaha as well.
Yeah,
Hmm. Other players who aren't playing this week, Man United. Are you going to keep Rashford,
yeah. I'll keep Rashford.
even though you play City next?
I have faith in my boy. I'll keep him.
Fair enough. All right, so that's from the perspective of someone on just transfer wise, right? Anything else?
Yes, that's Alex's perspective. What's your
I was going to ask you,
yeah?
what would you do on a wild card? If me on a wild card, would you sell all Liverpool assets?
Well, I've already done my walkout, so that's
Well, that's you.
your
I
choice.
know, but
No, it's
I
not
want
me. It is you.
if you
You're
had
on the wild card dilemma. So
if you had a wild card, what would you be doing?
yeah, I'll probably get rid of them.
This is what the tempting thing was before I hit the wild card button last night. Was I thought I can get away with doing 3 transfers, taking another hit, and selling all my Liverpool assets, and then having the wild card as a backup in case Liverpool destroy in the next game week or two, because then I can just wild card them back
Yeah,
in. But
uh, I was gonna suggest like take the hit like now and then
yeah,
wild card them later, game week 12.
that's what I thought about. But I thought, well, if I'm going to be wild carding game week 9 anyway,
Yeah,
why not just do it now? Because they're not playing this week. So if I'm scared of selling them or buying them back, they're not playing at all. So
yeah.
just do
I
it
mean,
now.
how many players would you get rid of if you're gonna wild card now?
Off the top of my head, I would have to sell Salah. My current blanks are Salah, Darwin, Trent, Fafana, James, Billy Gilmore,
Yeah.
Uh, at least six, and then my goalkeeper Sanchez, so seven. I think I have eight blanks actually. It was half my 11, and then that means I would have to play Neco Williams and Andreas this week. So I could have taken a 4 point hit, and then I would still only have 10 players.
Yeah. It's not a bad shot at a wild card now.
And yeah, so the idea then is to just do the wildcard now, because there's going to be people going after these teams above, and I'll probably save the transfer next week, and that's the risk. Is I'm still deciding whether I'm going to keep Salah or Trent, or sell one of them and keep the other,
Yeah.
but I'm not entirely sure yet.
Yeah, to me, Salah just seems like a waste if he's not consistent enough.
Giving you a different perspective of the fixtures, again, if you're selling, these are from Lego Mane FPL on Twitter. If you want to look at who to sell and when and who to jump onto, look, if you sell Salah this week or until game week 12, then look at the other teams who are in green around them who you can jump onto for the short term.
Yeah.
So the exact period that Liverpool have difficult games, you can jump onto West Ham who have good games. You can jump onto Newcastle. There's a lot of options. Spurs as well aren't that bad. Where are they? There. Leicester, Brighton, Everton, Arsenal.
Yeah.
Are you tempted by someone like Son or Kane?
No.
Not at all,
No.
because of just them not being great at the moment, or
Well, Kane, yes, but not Son.
and you can't get Kane into your team because you have Jesus, etc., and other fires to put out. So
I mean, I could sell Jesus and Salah and put in Kane and whoever's affordable in Salah's place, but there's no need for that. Jesus is playing, so no
fair.
panic transfers yet.
All right, just recapping the stats from last week. They're the same as they were because of no games this past weekend.
Yeah.
Uh, the teams who are blanking, let's ignore them. So ignore Trent, James. So then options in defense for people on a wild card, you could always keep. Most people have Nico Williams. Gabriel is doing pretty well. Nori is playing this week, right? Yes, he is. But
Yeah.
they're playing
City.
City, so I wouldn't be going there. Trippier is in the template. And
Yeah.
then Perisic and Sessegnon, I think, are tempting on the wild card if you know who's going to be playing.
Hmm. I mean, considering Perisic just get 90 minutes during the Champions League, it'll be interesting if he will rotate or not.
Pluses against Leicester, who aren't the best defense. So
Nah.
I think there's a chance of rotation, but there's no point in trying to predict it. But I think for me on a wild card, I have a slot in my team for a 5.4 midfielder. I can't quite afford Perisic at the moment.
Nah.
Unless, I'll show you my draft, but unless I do different things, then I can get him easily. But if there's news that Sessegnon is playing, I would get him. Because currently I have Dyer in my draft, because I wanted Spurs defender for this
It's,
week. Because they have the
yeah.
best defense in the league at the moment, so it's a bang on clean sheet.
Which
And
one hopes? But yeah.
yeah, which one hopes? I'm just gonna jinx it. Um, other players, I would be tempted by Dalot, but again, he's not playing this week. Brentford and the rest of these players, I don't think are tempting at all.
Yeah, we've got to thank the Premier League for scrapping their games.
We do. Looking at the midfielders, the reason why we went to Bruyne is because he's top of the pops at the moment. I almost said that, and then I did. Uh, Salah, Zaha, Gross, all not playing this week. Sterling as well. Look, this is why people don't have many options, and why we only really have. It's either a City midfielder if you're selling Salah, or you're going to Son.
It's so frustrating. I have 9 players playing, and just to get 11 starting, I mean, is it worth it? I mean, you do want 11 players playing.
Are you tempted by just selling one? Maybe you only use one transfer this week. You're going with 10. and then you have 2 transfers next week, and you can get again whoever you want, or again you use one next week again. And if you were to sell Salah, then in game week 12 you'd have 2 free transfers, and you can just bring him back for free.
It is a thought. Well, why not just go all in? Since you're making those transfers, just go De Bruyne and whoever's available. Just bring back Saka for all time's sake.
And look, I caught on late there. Looking at forwards, Haaland obviously still top of the pops. We're not. I keep saying that. Top of the charts, and Kane as well. There's a reason why we're going after Mitrovic, but selling Tony is a bit tough at the moment. Are we tempted by any other players on this list that are playing
Maybe
this
even a
week?
Watkins.
You said this last week as well, and I laughed
I
at you.
did, but I have Tony. So keep putting myself in a corner. Like he's a striker. Come on, stop it.
I mean, if you
If
can't,
I was in the midfield,
yeah,
then yes.
if you can't afford anyone else, then okay, fair enough. But not unless you have to. People on a wild card, me specifically, my front three at the moment is Haaland, Mitrovic, and Isaac, however you want to say it,
Yeah.
because of their fixtures mainly. Mitrovic because he's Mitrovic, but Isaac because he's got the good fixtures in a good team.
Mm.
Uh,
How about a Awani?
no, I'm not touching him.
I just love pronouncing that name.
Still not sure how to say it properly. Anyway, let's just get straight into the predictions because we're all here to talk about wildcards and transfers anyway. So the quicker we get to that, the better. Okay, game week predictions. Small game week, so let's do this quickly. Aston Villa versus Southampton. Villa win 2-0.
Villa. Yeah.
Forest Fulham.
Fulham. Or draw. I'm. God, what am I doing? Draw. I'll go draw.
Wolves City.
City.
City win this 3-0, I think. Newcastle Bournemouth.
2-0. Newcastle.
Yeah, I'll give you that. 2 or 3-0. Gonna go high scoring again. Spurs Leicester. I'm gonna go with a guess what? A 3-0 win. Spurs.
I mean, considering I have Ward in goals, I mean, I could sell Ward and Salah.
Depends on if you want to take a hit this week. Well, there's lots of options there. What's your prediction? That's what we're
Sorry,
talking
can you hear
about.
that? Is it? Spurs.
Okay, all right. And Brentford,
Score is
Arsenal.
irrelevant. Just going with the Spurs win. Arsenal sneak it.
Okay, I agree. Arsenal to win that 2-1, I think, though. Everton, West Ham. Tough prediction. I think this will be a draw.
Yeah.
1-1
Like I'm not convinced.
by both teams. Yeah,
Yeah.
without a doubt. I agree with you there.
Great.
And then our game week plans. Let's just get straight into it. I'll show you your team first. And we've been talking about your options, but now we can actually see it. So just go through your players who are
Let's do it.
actually playing.
Okay. So, yeah. Ward in goals. Nico had to sub in. Cancelo, Trippier. Andreas subbed in for Salah. Obviously, Nico for Trent. Gross not playing. Rashford not playing. Martinelli, Jesus, Holland, captain with Tony. And then, as you can see, Sanchez, Feldman, Salah, Trent on the bench. So, transfer wise, ideally,
You have
obviously,
2 frees.
yeah.
Yeah.
Would I want to take a hit or just do the 2 free? Considering Ward away to Spurs, I can see Spurs just punishing Ward because he's not really great keeping. What am I saying? A great keeper, great keeping. What am I saying? So Salah out, Ward out. The thing is, if I put in De Bruyne, is he? I think he's cheaper than Salah, right? So I will have like funds available.
Yeah, I
I
think
think.
Salah's 12.9 at the moment and De Bruyne's 12.2.
Yeah, so I'll have that point 0.7. So I could put in a 4.5, or if anyone's 4.4, I don't think so. Yeah, so I think I would consider that.
But then you'll still be lining up with
Still have,
10 players.
yeah, it's a tricky one.
If you were to sell someone else besides the keeper, who would you sell? Trent or Gross?
Probably gross because of fixtures,
So then,
later dates, not convincing.
so then same thing. You would go Salah to De Bruyne, and then Gross to who plays?
Yeah, even if Leeds have a good fixture, maybe. Yeah, I don't think Rodrigo's back.
Uh, I guess your options in midfield would be someone from
Yeah,
Everton,
yeah, Leeds are not playing
Villa,
anyway. Yeah, so
West Ham, Southampton. There aren't many options.
no, not at all. I mean, if Madison is affordable, which I don't think so, I would consider him.
I don't think you can afford him.
Nah,
You could punt on Coutinho if he's fit.
no thanks. I'd rather just go back on
Bailey.
Bailey. Yeah, that horrific.
You're not tempted by a hit. Take a hit to get rid of Gross, Salah, and Ward, I guess,
I could,
and then get.
and I'm deep in thought with that.
If you okay, let me throw in a different option here. If you seem to be quite high on Madison, so if you were to try and mitigate results here, and let's assume that City potentially might not get the result they want, instead of going De Bruyne, you go Son, which gives you Son against Leicester, and Son's 11.7, I think. So it's extra money, extra
Yeah,
1.2, and then you can do Gross to Madison.
interesting.
Then you have a, and if you want to, you can still maybe afford a hit to get rid of Ward to a keeper.
Yeah, even a Kulusevski instead of Son.
You could go Kulusevski instead of Son. That's risky, but I guess
It
it's,
is.
it's a good option. And then you still have some money, I guess, to upgrade back to Salah.
I mean, it's tempting.
It's Salah
What you
versus, I mean,
suggested.
it's De Bruyne
Yeah.
versus Son, I guess.
Or I just don't do anything and just keep it as is. Play with
Oh, yeah,
9 players.
you could know. You would probably have to do one transfer then. So if you were to do one
Yeah.
transfer, you said earlier it would probably be Gross out.
Yeah.
And that means Gross out to someone cheap. And you've already mentioned Bailey. Or are we going back to Bailey? it's
I
it's
mean, who else at under 6 or just, yeah, in the 5.5 to 6 range?
there aren't any. Ooh, wait, no. Saint Maximin is is he a midfielder? If he's a midfielder, then maybe. If he's
Yeah, I
fit.
think he's a striker. Yeah.
If he's not fit, then maybe Odegaard against.
Just let me get sick quickly. Sorry.
Okay. Well,
So definitely, I'll still stick with Salah and Gross.
so
Probably. I
that's
think that's,
the most likely transfer.
yeah.
All right, fair enough.
And I've still got my eyes set on De Bruyne.
I understand. Let me show you
Yeah.
my wildcard as it stands at the moment. A lot of things can change.
Ooh.
I'll tell you what is set and what isn't as I go along. Um, my back line. Oh, this draft has zero point 0.5 in the bank at the moment. So
Your backline. Are we talking rugby or are we talking
yeah,
football?
we're
Come on
talking
now.
back line here.
Yeah.
At fullback we have Nick Pope. Yeah, Nick Pope from where's he from again? Newcastle.
Newcastle.
I've still got Ward for the moment. It could become 3.9, but Pope is guaranteed. Not going to be rotating keepers. Cancelo is probably nailed unless I need to use funds elsewhere. Neko is nailed. Could become Patterson, I guess, from Everton.
Mm.
Trippier nailed, and then those two defender slots are open at the moment. But at the moment it's Dyer and Fofana because I want a Chelsea defender going forward because they have good fixtures. Uh, Dyer, as I mentioned, I want a Spurs defender for this game week. That could become Sessegnon or maybe Perisic if I can find an extra point one.
Yeah.
Midfield, current nailed players are Andreas, Martinelli, and De Bruyne. Son is up in the air at the moment, and I'll refer to that why shortly. But up front, I have, as mentioned, Haaland, Isaac, and Mitrovic. That's not changing.
No, not at all. That's a strong forward
It is.
lineup. Yeah.
I had a look at the common or template wildcards at the moment this morning, and they tend to have the similar team to what I have, structure wise,
Yeah.
but instead of the double up of premiums in midfield, they have De Bruyne and then an 8 million midfielder instead of Son. So someone like a Madison, a Bowen,
Yeah.
or a Kulusevski.
That is basically what I want with Gross to say.
So then that extra money in the template that they have is used to upgrade Dyer to Perisic and Fofana to someone like James, I think. And then they've kept the extra money in the bank so that they can just do a straight move to Salah next week if they need to.
Yeah. I mean, it's not a bad template if you think Son will perform. He still looks a bit shaky.
He does, especially last night.
Yeah.
But I don't like people are buying or on the wild card. They're convincing themselves that players like okay, yeah, Madison has proven that he can perform, but it's against Spurs again, best defense in the league at the moment,
Yeah.
and Leicester haven't been playing well. And then the other option is Bowen at the moment, who yes they have good fixtures for the next few weeks, but again West Ham have not been playing well. So why would I not? If I have the ability to have Son against Leicester, the worst defense in, well,
Yeah.
second to worst defense in the league, would I not just roll that dice?
My perspective, yes. But would you captain Son?
That's a good question. Son, let me just look at the fixtures again. Okay, considering that we have Haaland now, it's Haaland away to Wolves, or it's Spurs against Leicester at home, or it's De Bruyne against Wolves,
Yeah.
or it's Isaac against Bournemouth. And also considering the fact that on this wild card I've sold Jesus, who's playing Brentford away.
Yeah.
I mean, it's
Hmm.
you bring up a good point there. I wouldn't. Then yeah, if I'm not gonna captain Son, then why have him?
Yeah.
I mean, I could. Would you? Of the two drafts, if you look at this one, okay, I have zero point 0.5 in the bank. So if I want to make sure that I have a proper 1.2 in the bank to get Salah in one move next week, I can just downgrade Dyer to a 4.5 and Fofana to Emerson at West Ham, who has the fixtures. Then I have the money and I can do this team to Salah in one move next week.
Yeah.
Or would you rather do what everyone else is doing and distribute the funds better?
It doesn't hurt to set your team away from the template. I mean, have the majority of players, but the differentials will be obviously in the defense with the Fafana, Dyer, with Emerson and the or Patterson if you want Patterson.
I'm not sure how I feel about having two 4.0 midfielders. I mean, defenders though,
Yeah,
and two 4.5 midfielders in Gilmore and Andreas.
yeah. I'm just thinking fixture wise because Everton did look good, but yeah, having your two or three, four price defenders not good.
I haven't looked at doing Son and Gilmore to maybe that combination of maybe Kulusevski and a Madison, or Bowen and a Madison. So there's a lot that could change here.
Yeah.
But it comes down to those four positions: the Dyer, Fafana, Son, Gilmore positions. But I like the wild card; it looks quite nice.
Yeah.
Watch me do worse than I would have done with like 7 players. Yeah, this is the week where Ward saves a penalty, gets a clean sheet, Spurs concede 3 somehow.
That's what I'm thinking. I'm hoping he'll get saving returns because I'm sure he'll get bombarded by every corner. It's just he's not a good shot stopper.
Not at all. He's been terrible this season.
Yeah.
Although, to be fair, as I mentioned last week, he had his best game last week in that he scored 2 points instead of 1. So the man's form is increasing. Tempted to keep him.
Yeah, I don't know.
Is there anyone here that I'm overlooking? Do you think it's a bad idea to sell all my Liverpool assets?
Well,
Because
look, if you look into wildcard now, they're not really. Maybe.
because the risk is, yeah, I'm not gonna use a transfer next week. So then I'm gonna go into the Brighton. Okay, most likely I'm not gonna use a transfer next week. That means I go into the Brighton game with no Liverpool against Brighton at home.
Yeah, it doesn't look good on paper, does it?
And then another thing that I saw this morning, which doesn't help my thinking, is that who's the highest point scorer in FPL over the last, I think, 3 years in games against the top 6? Do you have any idea? It's kind of obvious because I'm hinting at it.
Yeah. Is it
It's
Salah?
it's Salah.
Yeah.
So Salah plays. They blank now. Then they play Brighton, and then they play Arsenal, and then they play Man City. So, hmm,
Yeah, I'm just banking on Liverpool not doing well in those 3 games, which is wishful thinking because, like you said, he does perform in the big game.
yeah, that's. I don't want to buy him and then have him on my bench this week.
Yeah.
It seems stupid on a wild card. I would much rather downgrade the Dyer and Fafana and have that money in the bank to do Son to him. But I'm not sure if I want to have De Bruyne long term as well.
Hmm.
So many options here.
I know.
It sucks. Anyway, this is what my team's going to be, and hopefully I do well. Hopefully you do too. I think you are going to do Salah and Gross to De Bruyne, and I,
To be continued.
I don't know who it's. I'm not convinced you're going to do that second move. But anyway.
My secret weapon at 5.5.
You mean 4.9 in Bailey? You're going to captain Bailey this week against West Ham? Or is it
I
Southampton?
wouldn't dare doing that.
Forgot to do this earlier, so we're going to do it now again.
Yeah.
Anyway, you can follow us on social media at FanChallenged on Twitter and Instagram. We seem to be lagging a bit. We seem fine again. And on YouTube, you can follow us at Fantasy Challenged, one word. And please like and subscribe to all these things and our posts, etc. If you have any questions, you can send them to us on Twitter. And if you don't want to watch us and only want to listen to our voices, you can do so on podcasts at Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or Google, or wherever else you find them. Any other thoughts before we end off, Alex?
You can catch me on Instagram or Twitter with my handle Alexi_buffs. If you have any suggestions on whether I should sell Salah and Gross and who to put in for them, please let me know. Other than that, good luck with the upcoming week.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I'm assuming you're not
Bye.
speaking to me.
No, sorry, yeah.
You're
It's just a general bye, yeah.
All right. Good luck for the game week, and we'll see you next Tuesday. Regular days this time.
Yes.
All right. Goodbye all.
Bye.